Good evening. Welcome to Crossroads Credit Union 13th Annual General Meeting. Thank you to all the participants for joining this evening. My name is Walter Ostaforf. I'm chairman of the board, and I will be moderator for this meeting. I call the meeting to order. The instructions for today's Zoom meeting. For motions, we'll ask the members, raise your hand to make a motion. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see reactions with that option to raise your hand. After the motion, I will then ask, does anyone oppose the motion? If you oppose, please raise your hand. If you have a question, there's a chat button for you to write down any questions you may have. This is available at the bottom of your screen. We will now proceed with having Jeff Bishop with the confirmation of quorum and notice of meeting.
(2021) confirmation of quorum and notice of meeting. Crossroads Credit Union Bylaw 10.07A requires the credit union to be present at least 15 members entitled to vote at the annual meeting. Our register of members indicates we meet the requirement of 15 members. The Credit Union Act 1998, Section 79 requires the membership to receive notice of the annual meeting 21 days, but no more than 50 days prior to the annual meeting. As the credit union has complied with the relevant legislation and regulations, this constitutes a legal meeting of the members of Crossroads Credit Union.
Thank you, Jeff. We will now proceed to the adoption of the agenda. I request that two members make a motion to adopt the agenda. Please raise your hands.
Motion made by Chris Politsky and Calvin Hominick.
Does anyone oppose the motion? Does anyone oppose the motion? Thank you. Motion is carried. Minutes of the 2020 annual meeting. I ask for two members to move the minutes. Please raise your hands. Brian, Carla? Does anyone oppose the motion? Please raise your hand if you do. The motion is carried. Thank you. Business arising out of the minutes? Does anyone have any questions? Please enter them in the chat box. Receiving no questions, I will proceed for a message from the board president, which is myself. 2020 has been a year of change. The year started out in the normal manner, as expected, but changed abruptly in March with the arrival of COVID-19, prompting changes to the way we conduct business with our members. We adopted the use of technology to do business while communication channels were kept open to the members and ensuring that our staff was safe. Thank you to our members for adopting different and safer ways of taking care of their financial activities. There was a significant increase in the use of the available technology to do financial business with the credit union. We appreciate your willingness to adapt and thank you for your continued support. Thank you to the management team for setting in place a plan for members and staff to be safe without lockdown. A task well done in spite of the challenges you faced. The year ended with a positive financial result. Thank you. Thank you to the staff for adopting new ways to conduct their duties safely without interrupting service to our members. Excellent teamwork. Also, thank you to the board of directors for reacting promptly and providing management with the validation to proceed with actions necessary to keep the credit union open for business during difficult times. Although the course of action was in uncharted territory, the organization was able to find a way to function and minimize negative results. While we still continue to face the challenges created by this pandemic, we feel that we are able to maintain control of the situation at this time. We must continue to work together using available technology and hopefully emerge a strong, healthy organization. Thank you very much. I will now pass this over to Jeff Bishop, Chief Executive Officer.
Walter. 2020, what a year it's been. Our vision of bringing financial confidence to our members soon shifted to pandemic planning. Our North Star throughout the pandemic was to keep staff and members safe and emerge as a viable organization. We quickly needed to pivot and serve our members behind closed doors. Our digital branch and Crossroads user experiences allowed us to serve our members in a different way. We want to thank our staff and members for their resilience this past year. 2020 saw unprecedented change. The pandemic accelerated many of our strategic initiatives around mobile and digital offerings. While our mission and vision remain the same, our new 3-year strategic plan was streamlined to add clarity and purpose and alignment. The plan focuses on increasing our members' financial confidence by providing tailored, accessible service while diligently focusing on our financial stability. Simply put, this means finding the sweet spot between digital and face-to-face. Our value proposition is in our service and doing what is right for our members. We have always been about members helping members, and our commitment to improving the future lives of our members and community is still our #1 priority. We are extremely proud in 2020 of how we all came together as a team, board, management, and staff. We are also grateful to our members, staff, and board for their patience, being supportive, and generosity with feedback to help our organization grow in uncertain times. Stay safe, stay well, and thank you for attending our first annual virtual AGM. Thank you. We will now pass it over to Rhonda, and she'll do the report of the auditor and financial statements.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening. I'm very pleased to present a summary of our 2020 audited financial statements. Our auditors, Myers, Norris & Penny, have provided an unqualified opinion indicating that the consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material aspects in accordance with international financial reporting standards. This report and the full financial statements can be found on our website as well as copies, at your local branch. As Walter and Jeff have alluded to, 2020 was obviously a very different year. So what impact did that have on Crossroads? Our balance sheet saw strong growth of 9.8%, or 27.1 million, ending the year with 302.8 million in assets, which was significantly over budget of 3%. We need deposits to grow our book and to fund loans. 2020 saw significant deposit growth of 10.3%, or 25 million, outpacing loan growth of 3.9 million, or 1.9%. We also have off-book assets of 51.6 million, which grew 6.4 million or 14.27%. A large portion of this was from the government-funded loan program. Sources of income for Crossroads come from net interest margin, which is the net of interest earned on loans and interest paid on deposits, and non-interest revenue. Net interest margin was down 342,000 or 4%. This can be attributed to the 3 Bank of Canada rate decreases early in the year, as well as minimal loan growth. Non-interest revenue saw a slight increase of just over $100,000. Operating expenses, which consist of personnel, member security, organizational, occupancy, and general business, decreased by $224,000 or 3.2%. Although we did see some increases for COVID-related expenses, provisions for impaired loans, and income taxes, we were able to recognize decreases in travel, training, and conferences. We were also very diligent in monitoring other expenses. This left us with an efficiency ratio of 67.6%, which was below budget of 68.32. Although net income was down 10.4% or $230,000 over prior year, we were able to contribute just over $2 million to our capital, which ended the year at a healthy 15%. And that concludes my summary of the audited financial statements. As I mentioned earlier, you can find the full financial statements on our website.
Thank you, Rhonda. Does anyone have any questions at this time? Please enter them in your chat box and we will answer them as soon as we receive them. At this time, we appear to not have any questions. We will move on to adoption of reports. I need to ask for 2 members to adopt the reports. Please raise your hands.
Motion made by Chris Politsky and Doreen Bochnick.
Thank you. Does anyone oppose the motion? Please raise your hand if you do. Seeing no hands, I move that the motion has been accepted. It's carried. We now have to appoint the auditor for the year 2021. On behalf of the Audit and Risk Committee, I make a recommendation that MNP be appointed auditor for 2021. I ask that 2 members make a motion to adopt the appointment of MNP as auditor for 2021. Please raise your hands.
Motion made by Dwayne Sweatman and Blair Lacina.
Thank you. Does anyone oppose the motion? Please raise your hand if you do. Seeing no hands, the motion is carried. Thank you. MNP will be the appointed auditor for 2021. I'll now proceed with the report of the Election Committee. The 2021 report of the Election Committee. Terms of directors expired in 3 districts of Crossroads Credit Union: Central, Northern, and Western districts. The following elections were required: Central District, 2 nominees, 1 3-year term and 1 1-year term. Northern District, 1 nominee, a 3-year term. Western District, 1 nominee, a 3-year term. Advertisements were placed in local district newspapers, website, and social media requesting nominations of interested members wishing to let their name stand for election of the board of directors. Nominations received within the advertised deadline were examined and confirmed that the nominees qualified to serve as directors under the regulations of the Credit Union Act and the Crossroads Credit Union bylaws. The results are: for the Central District, 5 candidates filed nomination papers within the advertised deadline. As the number of candidates exceeded the number of vacancies, an election was held at the Kenora branch from March 29th to April 7th, 2021. The candidates were Arlette Bagucci, Stephen Miriam, Linda Osachov, Natalia Prokopets, James Vilchar. Arlette Bagucci was elected for a 3-year term, and James Vilchar was elected for a 1-year term. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. No. Sorry. Okay, in the Northern District. No, that's not right. I'm sorry. In the Northern District, there were 3 nominations. The 3 candidates were nominated. Veronica Wilgosh, Chris Beliski, and Dwayne Karcha. Chris Beliski was elected. In the Western District, there was 1 nomination, and as such, there was no election required. Murray Botcher was elected by acclamation. Congratulations, new directors. I will now introduce the board members by district. In the Central District, we have Arlette Bagucci, Calvin Hominiuk, Walter Ostaforov, Betty Tomlin, Jim Vilchar. In the Northern District, Chris Beliski, Ivan Peterson, Dale Zubko. In the Western District, Murray Botcher, Dwayne Sweetman. Those are your board of directors for the next year. Are there any questions at this time? If not, I have one more thing to say. I would like to thank Leanne Christensen for her 9 years of service on this board. She decided she was unable to continue, but we really appreciate the service she's given us. Thank you, Leanne. If there's no questions, I'll ask for adjournment. Somebody please raise their hand. Dwayne, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us for this pioneer annual meeting for us. It's the first time for a virtual annual general meeting. Thank you for joining and hope you can have a safe year. Thank you. I must have left.